And spawning over in the top right-hand side, as our red Protoss, it is Asuna.
Yep. I actually think at this point, it's already too late to really do something about this. So you're going to have to react, and that is what Astrea is going to do. Astrea warps in a forge. That forge is in range of that cannon, though, Ben, isn't it? And now I guess it's very important for Astrea to keep the probes out. Now we're going to have a little probe fight. Nope, we're not going to have a probe fight. Okay, second cannon goes down at the bottom of the ramp as well. I feel like Astrea's setup is pretty strong defensively, as a probe did go down. Both players lost one probe.
I mean, 2 cannons, though, here. Like, this is going to be quite a bit of infrastructure that Astrea is going to have to give up, no? Although, if he gets that cannon up on the high ground, then he can deny vision from the probe and stuff. Isn't Astrea's response just really good against this?
Yes, but I do believe that this is not over yet. Zealot comes out, and this is going to be interesting. Oh, he should kill that pylon, though. I really wish that Asuna would have just killed that pylon, because then the probe could have gone in the main base. But maybe Asuna doesn't want to get into the main base. I can't imagine a world where you don't want to get in the main. So here we go. Probe does get in. We're going to get a pylon on the high ground as well. Oh. Now Astrea is going to be forced to warp in another cannon.
Yeah, so, like, there is a... Where does Astrea have his pylons, actually? So there is one... Okay, there's one safely in the main base here. So that is nice for preventative measures, but already a bit of a gnarly opening to deal with, right?
I wonder if Asuna... Okay, Asuna's going to start working on this gate, but this gateway is going to take a lot of damage. But... I'm actually surprised that only now there is vision. I guess the pylon needed to finish up. At least one stalker will pop, though, and... I guess that's all you truly need. I mean, this is just a bit weird, Ben. It's going full NA. I think the defense and the hold by Astrea so far is good. Then again, Asuna also didn't go super crazy with the commitment, so I think it's a very playable game. The only downside, I'd say, for Asuna is that warp gate is very far delayed.
Yeah, because, in fact, where is... Okay, has got the Cybernetics core up insertion, does start his tech before Astrea. But it's not as if Astrea can't afford tech, and both opting for Stargate openings with this as well.
Yep. Did Astrea scout the Stargate? Not yet. I actually think that would really help. Because I feel that if you know that it's going to be Stargate against Stargate, Phoenixes would definitely make the most sense to me. But I know that Asuna loves Void Rays, man. I've seen Asuna play quite a few games with Void Rays in the previous season, in different matchups as well, but... If you're a Void Ray lover, you start becoming a Void Ray lover in all the matchups, you know what I mean? They don't discriminate.
They certainly don't. They certainly don't. Where is Asuna living, by the way, currently?
I think Canada.
Canada? Okay, nice.
I know, that's a guess, but...
Okay, so what's the situation in this game? Astrea is going for his expand. And, oh, a nice surround on this Adept in the main base, meaning this Adept only gets 1 probe kill. That's definitely not bad. Not bad defense by Astrea. And he also blocked the natural with the pylon. But Asuna's actually managing his economy quite well. He had 400 minerals as soon as that pylon was killed.
Yeah, Asuna is going to go for the Stargate with Phoenixes, excuse me. He's going to go for the Phoenix tag. And Astrea's not aware of the fact yet that he's going up against Phoenix. So there is a good chance that his Oracle won't be able to get much done. And the Oracle flies over the cannon. So there is now 100% confirmation as well. And all that Asuna really needs to do is just take out this Oracle. And then I think this is a more than playable game. I'm even willing to go as far to say that I kind of like this for Asuna.
I like it too for Asuna. Like, probe-wise, he's actually in a pretty damn good spot as well. He's got 2 Phoenix out already, got to see the Oracle, and Astrea's still kind of not in the know of what he's actually going to be up against here, and this is going to be a real shock for him, I think.
Yep. Well, it's going to be a very unhappy surprise, right? I mean, this Oracle's super dead. There is no saving it. Astrea knows it. Could have maybe tried to go for a stasis trap, but I don't think that really would have ever gone off. So a revelation is all that you really get out of it. And it's not just the fact that you lose an Oracle for nothing. That obviously doesn't help. But then you build a Stargate that's now going to be pretty much useless. And because you build the Stargate, the rest of your tech is going to be very delayed as well. So dealing with Phoenixes that are going to harass your worker lines actually becomes very complicated because you won't have Blink for a very long time.
Yeah, what an unusual situation for Astrea to find himself in this game. You know, he got cannon rushed, and then he got kind of hard countered with the Oracle versus the Phoenix opening. And Asuna, like, having Phoenix on a large map like this, he can just play greedy with this, can't he? Oh, gotta keep that Phoenix alive though.
Yep. Don't want to lose a Phoenix this early on. If your opponent doesn't have that many units yet and they don't have Blink, you really shouldn't be losing any Phoenixes. And Asuna is able to succeed. So we're going to get maybe some good old Phoenix Immortal. All of the single gateway, by the way. So Asuna is going a little bit of Protoss mech on us. And you know that I'm a fan then.
I mean, if I didn't know better, Kevin, this was, in fact, you don't do the cannon rushes, but this right now, what I'm seeing in the production tab, I tune into your stream 7 times a day, Kevin, and this is all I see when it comes to PvP.
But, you know, little Max Pax also likes to play Phoenix Immortal, so I think I was onto something.
Ahead of the meta once again, you know, just waiting for the meta to come to you.
As soon as I wonder what the purpose of that pylon. Okay, we're gonna proxy a gateway. I find it kind of funny because he doesn't really have that many gateways. Now he wipes in another gateway at home as well. I'm really starting to love this for Asuna. What's the immortal count? Okay, it's only 1. I don't want to see him make this attack with less than 2 immortals for sure. Ideally, I would even say try to get 3 immortals. But Blink is close to finishing up, and that proxy ban, it is so close to the 3rd of Astrea. That's actually kind of insane, but he's getting away with it.
It was scouted by Astrea, though. Like, he does know about it. So Astrea is going to know where he's going to be getting attacked from, I suppose. But he can't really leave his bases, can he? Because then these Phoenix come in and kill a lot of probes or the sentries or anything like that.
If I'm Astrea, I cancel this Nexus, by the way. You really should cancel this Nexus. Because it's 2 base against 2 base anyway, and then your opponent is really committing to a proxy. Do you need... Okay, you can maybe keep it as a buffer to kind of try to buy time for yourself. Astrea fires up charge during all of this. So Astrea, I think, has the right idea. Just don't be stubborn and lose the game trying to defend this Nexus. Because he does... Okay, he is going to be stubborn and try... This doesn't make any sense, then. What is he doing?
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. This is where the Phoenix shine in these low fighting armies away from shield batteries and stuff. And it's 2 immortals. They're not getting the biggest shots off. They're trying to deal with the probes and stuff. In fact, dealing with most of the Phoenix here did Astrea, but this army of Asuna, it does pack a real punch here against Stalkers.
Yep, okay, we're going to go for the forward blink. We're going to dive on the Immortals. 1 Immortal does fall, but the second one gets quite a few shots off, and I don't think this was good enough for Astrea. I feel like Asuna should have killed that pylon. A couple of extra Stalkers do show up. These Stalkers obviously don't have blink, but what they do have, Ben, is way more HP. And I am baffled. I'm stunned. I don't understand why Astrea took the fight there. Like, he's got a battery in his natural. He walked in a cannon in his natural. Then why are we fighting here?
I have no idea, Kevin, because like the longer this game goes on, the better his army got against this kind of stuff. And Asuna, like, that was the absolute fight that he was hoping for, praying for, and Astrea just walked right into it.
I mean, it's a dream scenario. They could take a fight on the other side of the map. Nowhere near a battery. Like, since you're all inning and you can take a fight against an army that is not supported by any static defenses, yeah, that really just didn't add up for me at all.
Now, is Astrea, like, is he dead? I mean, he's got the same amount of Stalkers, but he's against 5 Phoenix plus Immortals as well. I mean, Astrea is really damn good, and I dare say his army is a lot more microable right now than Asuna's. A rough one.
Yeah, I don't want to say that he's 100% dead because I've seen Astrea win a game in DreamHack Masters against Nina on Eternal Empire, and in that game Astrea was 27 times more dead than he is in this one. So I don't want to count him out, but obviously it takes 2 to tango for games like that, and I like what Asuna is doing. He's like, all right, I know that I didn't just kill your Nexus and kill like 8 or 9 probes, whatever you killed there, but I also killed a lot of Stalkers, which forced out more Stalkers. So that means from this point on, I can actually just expand at home because I know that I don't have to be too intimidated by what you have out on the map. And Asuna is playing an excellent game.
Yeah, he is. And I love the fact that he's been on top of upgrades as well. Like, he's still getting his +2. He was getting his Twilight Council amidst all that fighting. This could be a bit gnarly, though, starting to lose a few Phoenix here on the left side of the map. That is one way for Astrea to get back into things. But yeah, macro-wise, Asuna's been doing everything right back at home.
Yeah, the nice thing perhaps for Astrea is that this is a very large map. So if this game goes on for another 90 seconds, there is a good chance that Astrea can make miracles happen with Blink and Charge, right? Like, obviously there's Charge on the way for Asuna as well, but maybe you can trade kind of like a base trading style and just be super annoying, buy time for yourself like that. I don't think this game is 100% over, but it's obviously Asuna's game to lose at this point.
Oh, yeah, certainly is. I mean, he's ahead in supply, and he's got a 3rd up and running, which, you know, we can't say the same about Astrea anymore. Ooh, Okay, what's going on here? Does Asuna want to be taking fights out here, though, before Charge is finished? I don't believe he does, especially when he doesn't have Blink himself.
No. I gotta say, Astrea has done a phenomenal job in sniping Phoenixes, almost gets another one, and the moment that all the Phoenixes are gone, then all of a sudden there is a lot of micro potential in these Blink Stalkers, right? Asuna doesn't have Blink. Obviously, what Asuna wants to do is just run to the other side of the map and force a fight, because Asuna's army is way more powerful, is way stronger, but we already know that Astrea is not just gonna sit there and wait for that fight to show up at his front door. He's going to try to be as annoying as possible with Stalkers. And imagine a world where he snipes the Prism and delays the push even more, then maybe he can swarm this army at home with Stalker Zealot.
Do you know what's amazing about this, Kevin? The fact that Astrea is actually caught up in supply. Oh, taking quite a few shots from these Immortals. Now he's on the speed zone, and Blink Stalker's using a speed zone as well. The thing is, Asuna's army's getting so powerful here, like proper stocky. So even though the supplies are close, his is very solid. He's even got 2 Immortals kind of joining this army as well in the middle of the map.
Okay, it's very important for Asuna to just be decisive here, Ben. Like, don't hesitate, don't turn around, don't get scared by the fact that he's attacking you as well. Okay, he recalls actually, so that is exactly what he's going to do. He's going to recall the Immortals. I feel like that is so risky, because if I'm Astrea right now, I recall my Stalkers and then I fight the rest of his army. I gotta say, it's still a pretty powerful army, but it doesn't get much better than this for Astrea.
No, I think Astrea... Oh, and he takes down the Warp Prism immediately, too. That saves him in a lot of ways. Is Astrea doing it, Kevin? I think he is.
Yep, he is starting to make some serious magic happen. The rest of the army of Asuna isn't quite here yet, so another forward blink will take place. That was a fake Phoenix that actually absorbed quite a bit of damage. Oh my goodness, Astrea, you are ridiculous. Finds another Immortal, takes out that one as well. Needs to be a little careful with his Stalkers, but this is insane. Astrea truly showing us why he's one of the very best players in this region.
I don't even think Asuna played too badly, you know. It's just Astrea made Asuna make a difficult decision. And the thing is, Astrea just had his plan afterwards. His follow-up plan was better than Asuna's. And now he's 60 probes.
Another
60
Immortal.
Probes against 42 as well, Kevin.
Yep. No, Astrea is actually very good in producing workers in these scrappy PvP games. I've noticed that in the past as well. I feel like Astrea could have killed an Immortal, but that one somehow got away. Asuna still has a shot in this game. The problem is, if you cannot capitalize on a massive advantage, how are you going to turn it around all of a sudden when your opponent still has so much micro potential and so many ways to annoy you with all these Blink Stalkers?
Yeah, that's the real thing. I mean, this army from Asuna is still a scary one, right? Like, can't fight straight up against it, but doing what Astrea is doing right now, where he's just picking off units and running back.
The Archon!
I was about to say, get the Archon, yeah. That's the key target there.
Yep. I mean, we do already see another Stargate going up for Asuna, so Asuna is aware of the fact that Astrea is not going to try to match him in Immortals and Archons. What Astrea is instead going to try to do is get Disruptors out, and I feel that as soon as we get up to 4 or 5 Disruptors, I truly believe this is Astrea's game. I gotta say, yeah, it's still possible for Asuna, right? This is so hard to force a fight. Look at how much value Astrea is getting out of his tech. But there is a Warp Prism in the main base, warping in a whole bunch of Zealots. Even though there's still cannons from the early game. Asuna is getting punished for the fact that he opened up with a cannon rush, man.
Oh, this is a funny game, Kevin. NA has brought us a lot of good games today, maybe for all the wrong reasons, but like here we have Astrea. He's finally getting back into it, right? He's got his own Immortals, his own Archons as well to help deal with things. But I think Astrea, and now he's got a 4th base before Asuna as well. I liked Asuna's plan throughout the entire game, but Astrea, like, as soon as he got to the mid-game, he just started out playing him quite a chunk.
Yep. I mean, the recall was just, I think, the biggest mistake that Asuna made. It's fine to recall, but he only recall after you at least take out that Nexus, or you would have taken out all those static defenses. It was very clear that Astrea didn't want to let that Nexus die. So let's just be decisive. Like, you lose a base, he loses a base, who cares? The only way to lose it was indeed to only fight with half of your army. Still in the game though, man. We have a couple of Phoenixes out once again, so he's going to try to lift these Disruptors, but I feel that Astrea is very, very good with this army composition, and it's going to be so hard for Asuna not to eat big Purification Novas to the face.
Yeah, I've been noticing Astrea keeps getting himself supply blocked, by the way, so definitely feeling the pressure of the situation here. Now he's producing 4 probes at once, and yet again, Asuna's kept very low on his probe count. As I say that, starts producing his own. But yeah, such a gnarly, weird situation they both find themselves in. And Asuna, while he's got seemingly a very strong, stocky army...
Oh, Disruptors by themselves! Disruptors by themselves! What is happening? Why are they not firing? No, all the Phoenixes are getting lifted. Astrea, what are we doing, mate? Oh my goodness, all the Disruptors on the right side, they still haven't shot. I don't think Astrea knows they're here. Ben, what the hell are we witnessing today in NA? A man just donated 6 Disruptors for absolutely nothing.
I still don't think he knows about it, Kevin. I've been watching his camera like he has no idea. What the hell is going on?
He's like, man, I could swear that I made Disruptors in this game. This is so odd.
Yeah, I think he just looked down. He's like, huh? I have no freaking clue, Kevin. As soon as back in this game and ahead now.
Yeah. Well, he's about to take a fight Archon against Archon near batteries. And let me tell you, man, an Archon doesn't die near a battery against other Archons. So we do have another Disruptor coming in from the bottom side. There are so many batteries finishing up. Overcharged batteries are amazing. Asuna cannot take that fight. And at least he knows about that.
Yeah, so he does actually march away. I mean, there's bloody cannons here as well. Asuna is warping in like 10 zealots at a time, so he's definitely committed, but they're warping in on the other side of the map here, so they're not going to join this army anytime soon.
Take out that pylon and maybe take out the other pylon as well, but this is still not a fight you can take, because Archons have pretty low DPS. They deal a lot of damage, but the batteries will just heal them up non-stop. Now the Phoenixes are all lifting zealots above Archons, which means a lot of the Phoenixes just go down immediately. Wow. Are we witnessing a bigger clown fiesta than Vindicta against MCAN in Game 2?
You know, I think we might be. This is one of the only games where Astrea can make this amount of glaringly obvious mistakes and still kind of be ahead.
Oh my goodness, I can't do this anymore. This is like the 8th best of 3 that we're casting today, and we've just seen a man walk 6 Disruptors to the other side of the map. All 6 of them died, and he didn't even flinch. He's like, yeah, yeah, this happens in our region. One prism gets gunned down by a couple of stalkers. Oh my goodness. All right.
I think that just goes to show that Astrea is obviously doing a lot of stuff very right. Yes. to be still in this game with how blundersome some of these decisions have been, or just, you know, like the third situation, right? Going to defend the third in an undefendable situation.
Yep. Yeah, that was questionable, especially after he warped in a cannon in the natural. I was like, I like this. He's reading this really well, because Asuna, in a way, is kind of all linear. He has 2 pylons on the other side of the map, a gateway, and this army doesn't scale that well forever. And then he's like, oh no, I'm going to pull probes as well. I'm like, what? But then Astrea is showing us how good he really is, and he somehow turns the game around with some great Blink Stalker movement, and we're like, all right, this is why he's one of the absolute top dogs in the region. And he's like, and this is my region. And he just walked 6 Disruptors into a corner, and all of them died. Like, how do you explain this to your friends and family, Ben?
I'm not even sure, you know. It's like, you know, when people ask me, like, hey, Ben, is there any game from your career that you, like, absolutely don't want people to see or absolutely want people to see? I think this is one for Astrea where he's like, yeah, please never ever watch this. This is terrible.
Astrea is now getting stormed, by the way. We haven't really mentioned that, but this is very cool. Obviously, the Phoenixes have a lot of energy, so he could land feedbacks, but Storm is actually not that bad. The reason you just don't see Storm very often is because there are many better choices than Storm in early and early mid-game scenarios, and that's where PvP most of the time stops. But it's actually good against somebody who has a lot of Immortals, because if you drop a Storm, you activate all the barriers, and then obviously the barriers will time out, and you know, it definitely has its place. And on top of that, it's still actual damage being dealt to multiple units at once as well.
Yeah, we're seeing a very unusual army composition for PvP, right? Like the fact that A, Colossus are involved, but B, High Templars are actually going to be used for storming as well. I mean, this truly is a game of PvP on NA.
I mean, I think Astrea's army is way better than the army of Asuna. Asuna only ever wins a fight if he can somehow neglect all the disruptor shots and, you know, cancel all of them, lift them in the right moment, and then just truly force a fight, pin Astrea into a corner. I don't see how that happens, but yeah, maybe Asuna can make it happen.
How do you feel about Asuna taking the 5th base on the far right-hand side here? Like, I mean, it's obviously paying for work.
Out of all the things we've seen this game, Ben, that's what you're concerned about. I don't give a damn where he takes his Nexus, mate. As long as he actually fights with his units, I'm already happy.
I mean, it's not Asuna that we have to worry about when it comes to fighting with his units, you know. That's Astrea every day of the week. Oh, the Storm Drop is juicy over here.
That's sick, actually. Very well done. 16 workers, and that Archon could perhaps get a worker kill as well. What I don't understand is why Asuna makes every unit in the Protoss book other than Disruptors. Because, you know, whether you like them or not, sometimes I feel like there is no way around it. Even if you want to play carriers too, like carriers are great, but carriers are way better when you also have Disruptors.
Yeah, I don't know, Kevin. They're both doing their own thing in this game, and you know what? I'm not going to question it, Kevin. We saw Vindictor versus Mechanic earlier, okay? Anything goes.
Astrea is completely not aware of the fleet beacon and stuff, right? So he's making more Disruptors. This can actually work out well for Asuna, because there isn't a crazy amount of anti-air in the army of Astrea right now. He's got 7 Stalkers and 7 Archons. If Asuna can get up to like 5 carriers, that's simply not enough.
No, definitely. And I mean, there's 2 on the field already. That's kind of scary. I mean, mass Zealot Wars. Astrea does play exciting PvPs, it must be said. And it seems it's like that no matter who he plays against.
That's a lot of Zealots. It's not quite the epic battle that Astrea and Neep had on Eternal Empire, but that's a lot of Zealots just casually going at it as well. Astrea starts making Tempest, and that is obviously the unit that he truly needs to make. Well, this is not a fair fight. Half of the army is invisible, but deals a lot of damage. Tempests are going to obliterate everything that Asuna has right now, Ben. Asuna has nothing that's good against Tempest.
So 1 minute ago, it's like, oh my gosh, does Astrea know about the carriers? Then it's like, oh, does Asuna know about the Tempest? Yeah, this game is wild. And 2 extra Stargates coming onto the map as well here. Mothership Core. Big upgrades from both of them. I do love the fact that they're both getting a +2 on the air weapons, though.
Yep. I think Astrea is going to try to take a fight to maybe get rid of some of the supply. Because Disruptors are great, but obviously if all of a sudden it's all about carriers, and then maybe Tempest as well. Like maybe Astrea has a few too many Disruptors, right? He's got 9. That's a lot of supply caught up in Disruptors when the main threat of your opponent is in Sky units. Then maybe 9 Disruptors is a bit much.
It might be a little much, Kevin. Yeah, against the mass air army of Asuna, but like the Tempest, they really do counter everything that Asuna has. Like the Colossus suck against them, the carriers suck against them, and he's got 5 Colossus and 6 carriers now.
Yep. The only hope there is for Asuna is that Astrea doesn't pay attention and the carriers can get in range of the Tempest. If you can get all of your interceptors out, obviously carriers can kill Tempest super quick. It's just that normally in high-level PvP, you don't really see the carriers get too close, right? Astrea should just revelate this army, keep his Tempest at distance, and then start wailing away like 1 volley at a time. And then before you know it, Asuna's army is going to disappear. Asuna should just, as soon as he knows where these units are, he should run into Astrea. Just go. He cannot be indecisive, man. If he starts going back and forth, he's always going to lose. He needs to fully send it and believe in his army. Go!
He certainly does, and I think that's exactly what he's going for. But the Storms, the feedbacks, they're really nice. The Tempest as well, shooting on the carriers. Big disruptors on all those Immortals as well. But the carriers, they're kind of raining pretty okay. The Tempests are kind of shooting interceptors a little bit. But is that just too much Astrea? Big warping. The supplies are so even amidst both of them.
Oh, the Archons of Asuna are somehow still alive. Look at these Archon shots on the Tempest. They're actually doing quite a bit of damage. He sees battery overcharge being used, so he's going to disengage. What a fight. Like, that is actually unbelievable. It somehow turned into a somewhat even fight. Now the Archons are getting in range of the Tempest again, so the Tempest is going to have to run away. They really want to get that final carrier, and they do. A bit of an overkill there, but not before 2 Tempests fall as well. This game is nuts. Asuna is now expanding at the bottom right, Ben. How do you feel about that?
I mean, Kevin, I saw the right one and I knew where this one was heading. This is like, oh, you got 2 bases down there in the bottom right. I'll join you, mate. We'll make this a true clown fiesta. But okay, we're having Void Ray transition. Now, Void Rays. I mean, they're pretty good against Tempest, I guess, but
yeah,
this game. This game has had every unit involved, right?
Pretty sure. I mean, what have we missed?
I don't think we've missed a unit.
No, I guess Adepts. Did we see Adepts? I guess
Saw Adepts.
Yeah, no, then we've pretty much seen them all.
Oh my goodness.
There's an outrageous amount of cannons on this map as well. There
I thought the disruptors were on the a journey again to death.
Oh no, how many?
Oh, I thought they were. There was just two, but you know.
All right, so Void Rays are great if they can really get on top of the army and they don't clump up too much. The problem is most of the time they do clump up a lot. They have taken every single base on Juggernaut. I have legit not seen this yet. I've played this map maybe 40, 50 times at this point. I haven't seen this yet. I've casted it quite a few times. This is pretty wild. How many Void Rays do we have? Only 5. I don't know if that's enough though. I think I prefer the 9 Tempest.
But look how they've split the map too. Like, yeah. It's kind of like a sandwich, you know, where you go for the triangle as opposed to like the square kind of one.
It's toast.
Yeah, it's toast, man. They've split it like toast.
Which toast do you prefer, Ben? Red or blue toast?
I mean, I'm a triangle toast guy, honestly.
All right, so Storm, the fact that Astrea has Storm is still very useful because Storm is amazing against Void Rays. Like I said, Void Rays just love to clump up. There's like, it's unavoidable. It always happens. So the fact that Astrea has Storm, I think he should warp in a few more. Astrea's gonna take out the base in the bottom right side. Asuna's like, hey man, not cool. Then I'm gonna take that piece of your toast away. So
yeah, they're ruining the toast of one another. Like, this is ridiculous. Oh, nice recall by Astrea. It is funny that we're, 28 minutes into this PvP and we're talking about how Storm's going to be good for the Void Rays and stuff. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's a pretty valid point, though.
It's a super valid point, which is why it's ridiculous that, like, it's actually now. Like, this is happening.
Oh, yeah. If you guys just tune in, this started off with a cannon rush. I know it's hard to believe, but it started off with a cannon rush and then Astrea was dead and then Asuna was kind of dead, but yeah, here we are, +3 air weapons on the way. Asuna, you know what I like is that Asuna doesn't make the units that everybody will always tell him to make. Like in this kind of a game, he should make Tempest. He's like, no, I'll make everything but Tempest. And then when we had the ground battles, it's like, you should make Disruptors. He's like, no, I'll make every unit besides Disruptors.
It's been great. By the way, I love this little armada of observers also with this army, but it's actually necessary, right, when you're against a mothership.
Yep, and obviously there's DT still as well, so I think having a couple of backup ops is the right thing. They both have observer speed, which is something you absolutely want to have in this kind of a game. Oh, there are the observers. See, if he wouldn't have observer speed, this base would have been some serious trouble right now, then.
Certainly would, but Astrea's using this time to go pick off the other side of the map here with this base. I mean, the Disruptors are kind of marching in. Decent, taking out quite a lot of probes here, but I feel Asuna with the bank that he has, even though it's not massive, like 2k, he can actually just kind of resupply on more battle units. Okay, the Phoenix are weird, right?
I mean, we don't have that many, mate. He's got 1 Phoenix.
He's making 3 at a time, though.
Oh, okay. I mean, sometimes they can get on top of Tempest. All right, Astrea is in a bit of trouble, actually. He doesn't want to... Wait, can he not recall? Did he use recall or something? Why is his army here? Okay, he is going to recall, but not before losing 3, 4. Like in 3 Tempest it was, but at the same time, he did manage to snipe the base in the top left side. Oh my god, he forgot like 6 Tempest?
No, he recalled to the mothership because I think he used the recall on his Nexus.
Okay, what the hell are we watching? Astrea just loses his entire Tempest army.
I think so, Kevin. Now he's recalling.
No, he's recalling to the mothership.
What? What's going on?
Okay, I don't know anymore. They cannot expect us to provide serious commentary over here.
I'm shocked.
I think he recalled some Tempest home because there's no way he could have just used a double recall on his mothership.
I have no idea, mate. I have no idea whatsoever.
Hey, is Asuna's army just invincible now? He's still got so many Void Rays.
I mean, it's much better in the straight up fight, right?
Oh my god. Astrea's in trouble, man. He's got... Okay, he does land a couple of great storms, but man, Astrea's army supply, he's got so many Zealots, and Zealots are not going to cut it against 8 Archons and 3 Colossi on the side of Asuna.
No, it's not. And these Tempests, even though they're decent, they're not good in straight up fights like this. And Asuna, the Void Rays get on top of everything. They are clumping like madmen, though. But there's just too much Asuna by the looks of it. And Astrea, he's plummeted in supply.
Overcharged battery. He's gonna keep this base safe. Couple of stalkers blink forward. 3 Archons, by the way, are like 2 stalker hits away from dying. We've got 2 Disruptors there on the left side as well. There are some Archons here too, but there's no more Tempests. This is where you really need a couple Tempests. I mean, how are you going to kill 7 carriers with +3 air weapons? Asuna has done it. Another Clown Fiesta of a game ban, but this one is all over.
Okay, so is this one more of a Clown Fiesta? I think it might be than the Vindictor one.
It's pretty damn close, but I don't know. I don't think anything can top that game, but this one was pretty insane.
The fact that we actually joked about it, like, will it top that? And it is as close as it is. Like, oh, I love you, NA. Never stop.
NA Starcraft is the best. All right, Asuna has only 13 tropes left, by the way. I just hope he's not going to get eliminated by Zealots. That would make it the most insane game ever. I think,
oh my goodness.
Look, Astrea's going to try to kill him with gateway units.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Like, gotta go for it, right?
How many observers do we have left? 2. Just looking for... Why do I have the feeling that Asuna is going to fly his observers into cannons? Take a look at the base on the left side.
Is he going to fly him? Oh, okay. He's down to... Is it one observer
Yeah, he flew 1 out of 2 into the cannons. Yeah, he has to be careful because he could lose power to his robo. I mean, he might just recall eventually, right?
I mean, it might... I'm looking at the supplies here. Even though Asuna's army is unbeatable, he is 40 supply behind.
Can Astrea... Okay, I think a recall has just taken place. Yes, indeed, towards the 3rd. Okay, Asuna has 0 income at this point.
Yeah.
Oh my... Ben, we are not even done yet. Astrea's like, this isn't even my final form. You said this game was over, Roddy. I'll show you. I'm going to win with Stalkers and Zealots against a guy who's got maxed out carrier army.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe I'm involved in this. Well, this is just the...
Ben, Astrea is mining 1,500 minerals a minute. The thing is, like, his army supply is very deceiving because he's got 30 Zealots. And even if he has 60 Zealots, he's not going to kill 3 Colossi and 5 Archons. So, but he's going to try to win the base raid.
Yeah, I mean, he can't fight the army. But the thing is, look how many units he has on the other side of the map. Like, and he's got units everywhere too. Like, probes can't actually leave. So if he snipes these probes on the left side and he knows bases aren't over there, like the runaway probes for Asuna, he can't do that either. This is actually scary for Asuna.
Yeah, Asuna should send his units home right now. Asuna, you already used recall, mate. Don't get eliminated, please. Ben, if he's not going to... What is... Okay, now he's going to send a couple of units home, but... Okay, it should still be in time. It was very scary.
Very scary indeed. Like, he's making this game as close as it can be, I feel.
And he's running out of money. He's got 280 minerals at this point, and he's losing a lot of interceptors to these cannons.
Oh, is he actually losing the interceptors to the cannons here?
Yep.
Okay, this gets a little bit scary, a little bit dicey. How many Stalkers are alive? Okay, only 6. I think Asuna's got this, honestly, but... Oh, man, what a Clown Fiesta.
Okay, there's a Dark Templar slicing away that Colossus. 1 Colossus gets picked up in the bottom right side. The second one falls as well. Okay, it might be reaching Vindicta against MCanning levels at this point.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Astrea, he's playing kind of Moon style in Warcraft 3, right? Like he's re-expanded to the left side of the map. But I mean, he's barely mining now, like very barely. And Asuna, he's coming over here in the nick of time before anything truly gets amassed, I feel.
Yeah, and the carriers still have... Okay, the Stalkers and Archons are going to try to fight these 3 carriers on the right side by themselves. It's a very important fight. Recall's being used. Can we get a carrier down? Yes, we can. That means only 5 carriers are left. But at this point, Astrea also doesn't have any income anymore.
No, and the supplies, again, they're deceiving because that is a ton of Zealots that don't shoot up.
But they do... Okay, maybe at this point, you just... try to eliminate Asuna. I think that Astrea is just going to grab everything that he has. Yes, like, I know you just use recall, so the rest of the army cannot get recalled. This is it. It's a cannon, a battery, and 2 carriers against this army. But the carriers should be able to win that, right?
I mean, if they run away from the shield,
use overcharge. Use battery overcharge, mate. Why wouldn't you fight him? Why would he fight away from the static defenses?
Oh, but the Zealots, what are they doing? I think Astrea's got everything on one hotkey here, so like, he started chasing with the Zealots.
The last cannon. All right, now all these Zealots were left behind. That was insane too.
This game's just insane, Kevin. I think Asuna's got this now. Like, I want to say for sure, but nothing's for sure anymore.
I mean, 5 carriers and 2 Void Rays against 2 Archons and 4 Stalkers. But if the man... I feel like Asuna is very indecisive about how he wants to split up his army. Like now he's sending everything to the other side of the map again. I guess he can always just wait until recall is off cooldown and it's already 3/4 of the way there. But now he's like, no, I'm going to send 2 carriers back to the main just in case. I think it's unlosable for Asuna.
I think, yeah, leaving 2 carriers, I mean, 4 Stalkers, 2 Archons. If you micro these carriers properly, they're not going to be taken out, right? But I would have left 2 full health ones up there just in case. Like, one of them that's left up there has got like half its hull damage, so yeah, that could be problematic.
I can't believe he had a cannon and a battery and he had overcharge available and he's like,
ran away.
Yeah, let's fight in the bottom right. Like, I understand that his reinforcements are on the way, but that carrier will never die in range of a battery. Like, that's just impossible. So then the Zealots and Stalkers and Archons would have to kill the battery first, but then we're still cannon at least helping out as well. He really made that way harder than it had to be.
What units do we have left? Astrea, 2 Archons, 14 Zealots, 4 Stalkers. And he's just kind of sat here, last stand, down at this bottom right base.
This isn't even our last best of 3 of the day, Benjamin.
I know. These guys are like, hey, I know you like to cast Starcraft. Let's do it 2 days in a row till like 4 a.m. and see 4 a.m. Ben, you know?
30. Oh, okay. Hello with the Void Ray. Careful there. Every unit matters. Okay, Astrea actually blinks forward. He doesn't have enough anti-air. He should have probably stayed near his static defenses. Yeah, okay. I think this is truly it. I mean, 3 Stalkers, 2 Archons cannot win this fight, man. Astrea knows it as well. Asuna does lose his last Colossus. A Void Ray goes down, but that is the last thing that will fall. GG. Astrea wins a 38-minute PvP. In which the army of this man, who has taken a 1-0 lead after a bizarre game 1, it is Asuna.
And spawning over in the top left-hand side, playing as the blue Protoss, it is Astrea. And the thing is, I've seen everything, and I still don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know either, but I know that canceling that second gate, that was a brilliant call, because otherwise those cannons go up, and I think he'd lose the game.
Yeah. Like, realistically, this is one of those times where your opponent mucked his cards, and you'll never know, but it actually was the right call.
Astrea just warped in a shield battery on top of his ramp for 0.1 second, and then he canceled it. He's like, you know what? I don't need this.
I think he's just making sure, you know, like, oh, can I block off here? Okay, yeah, I can. This game's wild.
Yes. I mean, it's pretty good for Asuna. He's got a Nexus that's like halfway done. Just took out the probe in the main base. He's going to warp in the Stargate again. Astrea warps in the Stargate as well and expands at 9 o'clock.
I don't know, Kevin. I think you're going to need to take me to a doctor's or something. Like, my heart can't take this anymore.
So, Astrea's going to take out this pylon. If Asuna gets unlucky and only scouts the natural, he's going to go in panic mode. And he's like, oh my god, I'm getting 1 base all lint. So then Asuna's going to warp in 6 batteries in his natural. And then Astrea's just going to be probing his 3rd base. But maybe the Adepts can spot it. We'll see.
I think, yeah. I mean, if Asuna is heading over here, this is actually really good game sense by him.
No,
oh,
well,
my goodness.
Is it, Ben? Like, he's going to panic. Okay, can the Adept see it? He's going to see no Nexus. And if I was Asuna, I would warp in 5 batteries at home right now and be like, oh, he gets into the main base. He does spot the Stargate. This is actually pretty good as well. How did this Adept just get into the main, Ben?
We do not question anything Asuna does at this point, Kevin. Oh, he's even going to lose a sentry. And these Adepts, are they going to just get out of here? That went about as beautifully as it could.
Yeah, no, okay. Now he's going to... Adepts, walk down, please. He doesn't know about the Nexus yet. He's warping in another battery at home. But he's probably feeling super confident. He's like, I'm winning this game, aren't I? Yes, you are, Asuna. You're winning this game convincingly, but... your opponent does have an expand. You need to scout that. He gets that final probe as well. 6 workers go down. Astrea is down 3 workers. And he doesn't have the natural base that he would like to have. He's in so much trouble.
But he is in the know about what his opponent's doing, whereas Asuna has kind of no idea. He knows he's going Phoenix, but he doesn't know about the economic situation.
Ben, Astrea is about to lose one of his Phoenixes, and that would be disastrous as well. He's sending in one Phoenix. He's like, oh my god, you got a Stargate? I gotta be super careful. If he would have lost that Phoenix, that would have been an even bigger disaster.
Okay, I think Asuna's going to get the scout off here, which is actually a big deal in a Phoenix versus Phoenix war. And okay. So he does know what he's up against now.
Yeah, he actually only made a second battery in his natural. Man, it's amazing that neither of them have lost a Phoenix, because they were sending their Phoenixes out one by one, which is normally a death wish in PvP, right? Because if your one Phoenix flies into 3 Phoenixes of your opponent, you lose. Asuna was building a second Stargate. He's like, Phoenix-wise, like, nah, cancel that. Let's warp in 3 more gateways. Let's just try to win with Phoenix Gateway.
And, I mean...
Astrea is like, let's try to win with Phoenix Gateway. Or mostly just Gateway units.
Wait, is that also... It's an aggressive shield battery being placed up there as well, Kevin? Like...
Yes. They both want to all-in each other.
I'm dying.
They are both so ready to attack into each other, and the armies are about perhaps to clash here in the center. That's so many Phoenixes on the side of Astrea. Or excuse me, of Asuna. Asuna's army is actually so much better. Okay, now he's gonna wipe in the second Stargate. He's like, wait a minute. You want to attack me? If you want to attack me, then I'm just gonna chill. I've got 2 batteries from the early game.
What is going on? Like, they have no idea what the other guy is like planning at all, do they? They're just like, oh, yeah, this is absolutely amazing. I love it.
So Australia's
whoever attacks kind of loses, right?
Yeah, definitely near batteries, 100%, because these armies are not powerful enough to really like overpower the heal of a battery. But Astrea is heavily supply blocked, not really a place you want to be if you're ready to attack your opponent.
Okay. Asuna was very supply blocked for the time being, and now he sees, he's like, oh, there's an army here.
He scouted the shield battery. Imagine if you're Asuna. And he's like, whoa, I need another battery in my natural. He's like, I didn't know that you were that serious about attacking me. All right.
Okay. So, I mean, that is quite a big army by Astrea. He's definitely caught up in the gateway count, but this Phoenix count from Asuna, like, it's getting up to 9 now, which that is pretty scary.
I do feel that the time of the Phoenix has passed a little bit, though. Like, I mean, obviously, as long as there's no blink, these Phoenixes could absolutely deal a devastating amount of damage on the other side of the map. But Astrea will most likely just split his stalkers up in a pretty decent manner.
And he's doing exactly that. These sentries could be called out, though.
Oh, that's a nice pickup. But, I mean, that's actually just very nice.
Yeah, I like... Asuna has to be a bit careful here because he doesn't know that Blink's not done yet. But this was a very nice Stalker split by Astrea because he had to defend 2 faraway bases as well.
Asuna's getting his own Twilight Council, and I don't know about you, Ben, but I would really like to see him get charged much rather than Blink. Like, I know he's got 5 Stalkers, but I think he should go charge here.
Yeah, I think he obviously has nothing in the air to worry about. He's even getting +1 on his Phoenix. A man of your own heart, Kevin, right there. But yeah, Astrea, he's just going balls to the wall with the amount of Stalkers that he's creating.
Blink is almost done. Absolutely perfect timing. This was the first time that these Phoenixes were seriously thinking about it. Asuna's going Void Rays now. Alrighty.
It might be charge, you know? Like,
yeah, he should go charge. Astrea just blinked and killed his own Stalker.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He killed his own Stalker?
Yeah, but that happens pretty often to be fair.
What? No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. You want to tell me you never kill your own Marine?
Not really. Not saying it happens all the time, no.
Oh, it happens all the time to us pros players. We're clumsy, man.
Okay. So these Phoenix, they just had a tour of Astrea's base, and they do get out, which is a nice place to be. And this Void Ray count is mounting. Okay, Robo Bay. So after taking up to Twilight Council, he's now getting a Robo.
You know what's even more ridiculous? That this too is going to be a long game. And that really didn't make any sense. Because they were both so ready to all-in each other. Asuna was in such a good spot. He had a better economy. He had his natural over Astrea having the 3rd. And then it's Phoenix against Phoenix. Like, these games are not supposed to look like this a couple minutes down the line. But here we are. Void Rays, Immortals, Robo Bay, air weapons against Archons and many bases. Oh, here we go again.
So I do feel that Astrea, like overall, even though he's made some glaring mistakes, is maybe the more well all-round player. But the thing is, Asuna's army is getting kind of scary, right?
Yes and no. I'm not the biggest fan of these Void Ray armies. Like, they're very good if your opponent just stands there and you take a fight. Hey, Asuna's building a disruptor this game. So, I mean, I actually prefer Astrea's position because there is so much potential in his gateway units. He's getting Storm again. Storm is great against Void Rays. It is going to be hard for him to attack into Asuna because Asuna has warped in a lot of batteries. He's warping in a lot of cannons now as well. But if I'm Astrea, then I just go up to 5 bases at that point and just become ultra rich and get some good upgrades going.
The disruptions are really going to make it a little bit awkward, though, aren't they? Like, trying to fight against this, like, if you blink in, like, what do you focus? Do you get rid of the disruptors first? I guess you kind of have to.
Yeah, but I think you can sort of, like, just kind of avoid that army. I mean, this is obviously a much smaller map, so maybe it's easier for Asuna to truly force Astrea to fight. But normally it's very hard to get to the other side of the map with an army like the one that Asuna is working with.
He is getting a fleet beacon, so that means that, you know, carriers could be on the way in the future. Because I doubt he's just getting it to get +2 weapons here, but taking a 4th base against what Astrea's got, and he's splitting his army into 2 sections.
Oh, what was that? He just flies the Phoenixes over all of these Stalkers, gets feedbacks as well. Now, these Phoenixes are still kind of in a rough spot. A lot of Stalkers are still there on the top side, man. They're looking for those Phoenixes. I don't know what's happening.
No, let's just enjoy, Kevin. Let's just truly enjoy. One Storm is available. He actually used most of it on the feedback, but actually gets the disruptors, gets the second disruptor as well. Nice focus fire by Astrea.
Yep, Astrea in a really good spot at this point, and Asuna looks a little bit out of his comfort zone with this army. There's a War Prism joining in the fun as well. Astrea is now up a base, and he's up 19 workers, so he can truly start getting a bit reckless. It's okay if he takes a bad fight, as long as he can just reset this army. I think he's going to be more than okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of Zealots and, you know, a lot of Archons as well. The splash damage is pretty insane on his army. I feel like if he just kind of collapses on Asuna from 2 angles, especially here, because it's away from Photon Overcharge, right, on the batteries, then he could be pretty okay.
Yeah, Photon Overcharge. I mean, that Nexus did have a lot of range though, man.
It certainly did, it certainly did. Okay, going in from the top here, just from one angle though is Astrea. Okay, storms the Phoenix. They all kind of meet their demise. Nice storm on the Void Rays.
Yep, a couple of Zealots being wiped in the main base as well, but there is a carrier defensively. Astrea's just kind of running away. Does he have any storms left? No, he doesn't. But his army actually does kind of well against the army of Asuna, as long as he doesn't eat some big Novas to the face. Nope, he doesn't. Well done. Astrea's actually doing this really well.
He certainly is. He's kind of pulling Asuna apart, and it's a pretty difficult map to do it, but he's making his army way more efficient against Asuna's than it kind of should be, I feel.
Yep, Asuna has lost quite a few workers at this point, and that obviously means it's going to be harder and harder for him to get the fights that he wants. I mean, look at the focus fight there by Astrea. These Void Rays are just getting picked out of the sky one by one. GG gets called, and Astrea, not Asuna, Astrea wins a...
And spawning over in the top left-hand side, over Manta side, it is Asuna.
He's gonna have to defend against cannons one more time. It is Astrea. Yeah, I guess he was just very, or maybe he's very certain about the way that Astrea defends, and he's like, oh, I don't need a second probe here because I know you're not gonna go crazy and pull a whole bunch of orcas and prevent these cannons from going up in the first place.
Okay. I wonder if it's even worth letting the second cannon go up here. Like, is it... I don't think it's possible to kind of sneak in the probe anymore, right? Like, that's it. That's done.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it's really going to get anything done. So that second cannon probably not very useful. I think at this point, Astrea is in a good spot. I mean, he's up 2 workers. Cybernetic core already spinning. Warp gate on the way. Asuna on the other end. Obviously, he doesn't have a cyber core yet. Well...
Just got 2 cannons and a pylon at the bottom of his ramp now. It's an interesting PvP already.
Astrea makes it look very easy to deal with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, he just kind of says to himself, like, okay, I'm going to get a forge as soon as I kind of feel it. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to wall off and I'm totally done. As long as I don't plant my cannon in range, I plant it in range of the ramp just so nothing can run up. And
Yep.
it's very smart. And he's now planting an offensive pylon and going for 2 extra gateways. This is very much the Showtime response that we saw of him against Max Packs.
All right, the pylon goes down in the main base as well, which I think is kind of supposed to distract Asuna, but Asuna already knows about both pylons. The thing is, though, Asuna's got no DPS. So if Astrea just wipes in a bunch of units, the only thing that Asuna can do here is build a Void Ray, but I don't think that Void Ray is ever going to be out on time. If I'm Asuna here, I cancel my Nexus. I think defending low ground is very stubborn. Like, how are you going to... Yeah, exactly. How are you going to defend, like, 5-6 Stalkers with 1 Adept?
He's super supply blocked, and now taken into a robo as well. Like, this is a gnarly position for him to be in. And Astrea, he's got a lot of supply to work with. Like, he can warp in a lot of units, and where does he warp them in? That's the question.
I think he can go for the main base warping. It doesn't really change anything, and there is nothing that can really do damage. Instead, he goes for low ground. He gets a cancel on that 1 battery. There are no shield batteries here at all. Asuna is still supply blocked. So that Void Ray, I mean, it could have been halfway out, but instead it's only starting now. And I think this game is just over, man. Astrea is just going to win by walking into the main base with 6 Stalkers.
It's all right doing a cannon rush, but if you got literally no follow-up, it's a little bit sad for Asuna, honestly. And yeah, pulling probes against a lot of Stalkers here. Astrea's just kind of dancing around. I mean, that Void Ray will be out in a bit, but oh man, what a supply block. What a way to end this series.
Yep. Yeah, that was the supply block of all supply blocks. A bit sad, because obviously Asuna deserved better there after putting up such a good fight in the previous 2 games. But this game is all over. A couple of probes are not going to save the day. The Void Ray does pop, and it will push these Stalkers back, but Asuna knows that this game is